I'm engaged to John. We have been together for 5 years and plan to get married in July 2025. I always thought his family liked me because we got along well. He has 2 older brothers, both married. Honestly, I was very excited to have them all as my in-laws. They were always kind to me. About a year ago, I came across an Instagram profile that shared inspirational quotes. One quote that stood out to me was, "Only stupid people pretend to know everything. Don't pretend, just ask." This quote changed me. I realized that pretending to know everything would make me miss out on learning. So I decided to change my habits and start admitting when I genuinely don't know something. I ask a lot of questions now. During a small barbecue hosted by John's parents, I arrived late because of work. As I walked toward the backyard, I overheard John's mom mocking me. She imitated me in a high-pitched voice and called me stupid. I heard them all laughing, including John. My heart broke because he didn't defend me. I quietly left and texted John that I felt sick and had to stay home. Now I'm unsure how to approach this situation. I've been sleeping in the guest bedroom using the excuse that I don't want him to get sick. I can't ignore him forever, and I can't pretend to be sick anymore. I'm considering talking to them about this, but I'm worried they won't be honest. I can't marry him if he thinks I'm stupid, nor can I marry into a family that thinks so little of me. Maybe it was a joke, and I shouldn't take it seriously. I'm torn and would appreciate some advice. Now for the update. First, thank you to those who reached out to answer my questions. I appreciate it. For those who said I should just shut up, I don't really care if you find me annoying. I'm here to have a good time, pursue my interests, and learn. I didn't expect my post to gain so much attention, but I'm grateful for the advice. Most of you told me to break up with him and at least confront him, so that's what I decided to do. Before confronting John, I texted the wife of John's brother, the one who said she liked me, asking questions. We met for coffee, and I told her I heard their conversation. She admitted it wasn't a joke and felt embarrassed. She apologized for not defending me more, and I told her I understood. It was just bullying. Then I had to confront John. During dinner, I was so stressed I thought I might pass out. My legs were shaking, and I was terrified because I knew this was the moment my 5-year relationship could end. I looked him in the eyes and asked, "How does the sun work?" He looked confused, so I followed with, "Where should I put my fork? Why does nobody like me?" At this point, realization hit him, and he started nervously laughing. I said I was there and I heard them. After the initial shock passed, he got mad. He said it's rude to eavesdrop. I said it's rude to bully people. He tried telling me that it was just a joke, that I shouldn't be so uptight, that it really was funny. I said that I didn't find it funny and went to the guest to calm down. He started panicking. He was asking me to please talk to him. He was much more apologetic and said that he will be 100% honest with me. I asked if his mother made similar comments before the BBQ. He said yes. I asked him if he ever defended me. He said he tries to. I don't know if I believe him. He told me he loves me and respects me. I don't know if I believe it either. I said that I love him too, but I need a break. He's all I've ever known. He was my first and only partner. I have no outside perspective of this. I have no experience. I need a moment to think. I will be going to my friend's house for a while to think everything through. The apartment has his name on the lease anyway. After I gathered some of my things and left, he kept texting me nonstop. He tried calling, but I didn't respond. I was very hurt because he tried to belittle my feelings, and only later, when he realized that I might break up with him, started apologizing. The next day, I decided to give him another chance to explain himself, and I came back to the apartment. He seemed very sad and tired. He said that he told his mother that I overheard them. I said I don't care. It's his time to step up and show me that he cares. I'm not interested in an apology from his mother. I'm already done with her. I can't put up with this behavior and mocking me like we're in primary school. I saw a comment saying that probably her ego is hurting. I think it's true. She never got the chance or never had the desire to have an education. She is a very good homemaker, but outside of that, she doesn't have many interests of her own. If I'm asking her about making tomato soup, she will be talking for 30 minutes, lecturing me about adding enough sugar, but not too much. She will lecture anyone who is willing to listen, but anytime someone is talking about something she's not familiar with, she gets defensive and tries to imply that nobody cares about that, and if it's not relevant to her, it shouldn't be discussed. Once again, he tried telling me that I should relax because it was only a joke, and at this point, I had enough. I took off my ring and told him that his behavior is a joke and I can't be the punchline. I told him that I wish him and his family the best and to look in the mirror to check if they really are as superior as they think they are. I said I'm going to be back with my friends soon to pick up the rest of my stuff and to not contact me again unless it's about moving my things out. And that's it. I'm done. Thank you all for the advice. Without you, I wouldn't have the confidence to leave this man. I know I deserve better. I can't be with someone who can't stand up for me, and I wouldn't be able to feel comfortable around his family, so I'm done with the relationship. I hope they will treat his next girlfriend better. Thank you again for the advice. Now for a few important comments. One commenter said, "Keep on being curious, not judgmental." Then the original poster responded, "Same. I absolutely love that show. I watched it with my ex, and it's funny that he didn't like Ted and thought that his character was not relatable and silly. Duba, we all should have Ted's strength and positivity sometimes." Another commenter mentioned, "Your ex-mother-in-law can still go and get an education. Many have, and there is still time. That's no excuse for what she did, and her saying that and acting like that shows how uneducated she is." The original poster replied, "I think so too. I believe it's never too late to start learning something new and continue education. In my uni, there was an old lady in her 70s who recently graduated, and everyone was just so proud of her. In my country, university is free, so the barrier of entry isn't as bad as in the US, for example." Now for the 3-month update. It's been some time since I posted the last time, so I thought I'd give you guys a small update because some people still keep messaging me. I appreciate all the kind words. So I got my own apartment now. I lived with my friend for a while, and she was an amazing support for me after the breakup. But now I have my own place closer to my university and work. Turns out my ex-fiancé didn't tell his family that we broke up. I blocked them all except for the ex because we needed to keep in touch in order to get my stuff from the apartment that we shared. And nice sister-in-law. And a week after the breakup, she texted me and asked when I will come to the parents' house because everyone wants to apologize. I called her and said that we're no longer together, and I don't really want their apology. She seemed shocked because my ex was telling them that we're fine, she just needs some time. Ex-sister-in-law told me that the family is still fighting over this whole ordeal, and that the brothers are giving my ex a hard time about the situation. I told her nicely that I don't really want any updates. I like her, but I cannot put my energy towards following their every move. She told me she understands. I don't know what happened after that with them. I'm happy. I went on a date with a cute guy I met in a cafe, but I'm taking everything slow, and I don't want to rush any relationship. I'm not ready because just 3 months ago I was planning a wedding, and right now I'm single and focusing on studying and work. When I graduate, I want to adopt a kitten, and that's my only goal in terms of any big commitment right now. I also enrolled in CS50 by Harvard X, and I recommend you all to try and learn something new today. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask, and I will try to answer in the comments. Now for a few comments from the original poster. One commenter asked, "Update us on the kitten, please." The original poster responded, "I will for sure. I'm so excited. I wanted to get a cat for so long, but my ex was against it. He didn't like cats. He was a dog person. I'm waiting till I graduate because I want to have more free time to actually take care of it." Another commenter suggested, "This may sound like a lot, but consider adopting 2 together. 2 siblings or a bonded pair are not much more work than one, and they entertain each other and are so fun to watch. My profile pic is our kitten we adopted with his sister at the same time, and it's great." The original poster replied, "Oh, okay, that's good to know, thanks. And your kitten is so cute, give him and his sister some scratches and pets from me." Lastly, a commenter asked, "May I ask, if you already gone and picked your stuff from his place and blocked him for good? Hope so for you to end the chapter more easily. The original poster answered, yeah. After a week and a half, I was done picking up my stuff. I tried not to be petty and take my silverware, for example, and not give him a reason to get mad. I didn't want to come alone, so I only went when my friend had the time to help me. He did get mad when I took my air fryer. He loved it more than anything. Haha. I blocked him after I took everything that was mine. I think even though the brothers still think what the family said during the BBQ was funny, they are giving my ex a hard time because he let a good one go, or something like that. They don't think they were in the wrong, but they're making fun of him for not standing up for me, and they're laughing at the fact that I broke up with him and he didn't even have the balls to tell them. One of them said that if someone called his wife stupid, he would defend her even if she would have done something dumb. Now for a few comments. A commenter said, "You don't have a sister-in-law. Law is literally in the title." Then OP replied, "Yeah, it's just easier for people to read and understand. I didn't want to call her my fiancé's brother's wife because that's long and awkward." Another commenter remarked, "Seems like you moved on very easily, from love to engaged and blocked within a few weeks." OP responded, "Yeah, the love faded really fast. I didn't expect it. The attachment to him is still there, but I very quickly stopped feeling love for him when I fully realized that he sees me as stupid and at the very least not on his level. Am I the idiot for refusing to host a keto-only dinner after my sister's boyfriend brought his own food to my house? So, here's what happened. I invited my sister and her boyfriend over for dinner. I love cooking and had spent hours preparing this fancy meal. Homemade pasta, a slow-cooked ragu, a salad, and a tiramisu for dessert. I was really proud of it and excited to have them over. When they arrived, everything was fine at first. We sat down and I started serving the food. Her boyfriend, let's call him Steve, stared at the pasta for a moment, then looked at me and said, "I don't eat carbs." At first I thought he was joking, but nope, he was dead serious. He goes on about how he's super into keto and carbs are the enemy. Okay, fine, that's his choice. But when I offered to make him a salad or something else on the spot, he refused and said that I should have known about his diet beforehand. This is where it gets weird. He then pulls out a small Tupperware container from his bag, filled with what looked like boiled chicken and broccoli, and starts to eat it at my dinner table, while the rest of us are trying to enjoy the meal I spent hours making. I was stunned and, honestly, kind of insulted. I told him it was rude to bring his own food without mentioning it to me beforehand, and he should have at least given me a heads up. He then goes off about how people need to respect his dietary choices and that I was being controlling by not accommodating his needs. At this point, I'd had enough. I told him, "If you can't eat what's served and won't even let me make something else, then maybe you should just get out." He stood up, said something like, "I'm just trying to be healthy," grabbed his Tupperware, and walked out. My sister stayed for a bit, but eventually left too, saying I overreacted. Now my sister's mad at me, saying I embarrassed her boyfriend and made them both feel unwelcome. My mom thinks I should apologize, but my friends are on my side, saying Steve was being incredibly rude. Now for a few important comments. Commenter: Your sister didn't give you a heads up about his diet? Honestly, no, she didn't. I'm not sure if she even knew how serious he was about the whole keto thing because she never mentioned it. She eats pretty much anything, so I assumed he was the same. But even if she had, I feel like it still would have been polite for him to at least say something beforehand, instead of just showing up with his own meal. I would have happily made something keto-friendly if I had known. Now for the 6-day update. Well, y'all, buckle up because things have escalated in a way I never expected. After my initial post, I figured things would calm down once my sister had time to cool off. Spoiler alert, they did not. So the day after I told Steve to leave, my sister texts me saying they want to talk things through at a family dinner. I assumed it would be just the three of us, maybe at a neutral restaurant where we could hash it out like adults. Nope. Instead, my sister invites my parents, my brother, and Steve's parents to this dinner at my parents' house, turning it into some kind of weird intervention. I show up thinking it'll just be a casual conversation, but the moment I walk in, Steve's mom, let's call her Carol, is already going off about how Steve has always had special dietary needs and how people who care about him should respect his boundaries. The woman acts like the guy has a life-threatening allergy, not a trendy diet. My mom is sitting there looking super uncomfortable while my dad's just quietly sipping his beer, clearly wishing he were anywhere else. So Carol starts listing off Steve's dietary restrictions, and she's acting like I personally offended the whole keto community by serving pasta. Then, brace yourselves, Carol pulls out a folder. Yes, a literal folder with printouts. She hands one to me, one to my mom, and one to my dad. I'm flipping through this thing, and it's full of Steve's dietary guidelines, suggested meal plans, and even a list of keto-friendly restaurants we could go to in the future. At this point, I'm doing everything I can not to laugh, but it gets worse. Steve pipes up and says he's willing to forgive me for disrespecting his lifestyle if I agree to host a redo dinner where I follow his dietary restrictions to the letter. He says this will prove I'm serious about making amends and respecting his needs going forward. I thought he was joking, but no, he was dead serious. He even pulled out his phone to show me some keto recipe apps that I might find helpful. I was in total shock. My sister, by the way, said absolutely nothing during all of this, just staring at her plate like she wanted to disappear. My mom, bless her, tries to smooth things over by suggesting we all just eat whatever we want when we're together. But Carol snaps. It's not that simple. She says that in their family, they all follow keto together, and that's why Steve is so passionate about it. At this point, I've had enough. I stood up and said, look, I'm not redoing the dinner. I'm not making anyone a special keto feast. If Steve can't eat what I cook, that's fine. But bringing his own meal to my dinner without even telling me was disrespectful, and I'm not apologizing for feeling that way. And then, this is where it gets absolutely bonkers. Steve's dad stands up, points at me, and says, this is exactly why Steve doesn't trust women to understand him. They always make it about themselves. The whole room went silent. My dad finally spoke up, saying, I think it's time for you all to leave, and started walking toward the door, basically escorting Steve's parents out. Steve and my sister stayed behind, but Steve was furious. He started yelling about how family should support each other, and then accused me of trying to sabotage their relationship because I'm jealous of what they have. At that point, I just walked out and left the whole mess behind. Here's the kicker, though. A couple of days later, my sister called me and told me she and Steve were taking a break because she needed time to think. Apparently, this whole keto fiasco was the last straw in a long list of controlling behavior from Steve. She didn't realize just how bad it was until the whole family saw it play out at dinner. She even told me that Steve had been trying to get her to follow his diet for months, but she was hiding snacks in her car just to get a break from all the keto madness. So now Steve's gone full radio silent, my sister is staying with me for the time being, and I'm still getting passive-aggressive texts from Carol about how hurt Steve is and how he's just misunderstood. Honestly, I'm just glad my sister is finally seeing how controlling this guy was. Am I the idiot for feeling betrayed by my so-called friends who couldn't be bothered to celebrate my wedding? I am marrying my fiancé next year. I'm the last of my friends to get married, and honestly, I'd made my peace with being single and getting a dog before I met my fiancé. I am part of a group of 6 girlfriends who have all known each other since college. We've been through everything together: breakups, holidays, weddings, babies, promotions. When I told them I got engaged, they seemed happy and sent me congratulations messages. But when everyone else got engaged, they threw them parties or went out for dinner to celebrate. They didn't, in my case. I gave them nearly a year's notice on my bachelorette party, which I'm keeping low-key as I don't want a big thing. We're going for dinner and drinks at one of my favorite restaurants in our city. However, slowly, all of my friends have been dropping out, saying they can't get a babysitter, or they have to work late, or they're on a work trip. I've obviously invited them all to the wedding as well, which again is a small affair, and one has already messaged the group chat saying she's not sure she can get a babysitter for that day. My wedding is months away, and I'm finding it really hard to believe that she knows that far in advance. 2 others have also said they're not going to stay for the reception as they will be tired by then. Here's where I may be the jerk. The straw that broke the camel's back was when I sent the link to the registry. My fiancé and I already have a house together, so we're asking for mostly small things. Nothing goes beyond $50, and we're delighted with anything that anyone chooses to buy us. They sent a message into the chat saying they were going to band together to get me an air fryer as a group gift. It costs $40, so I was a bit surprised that they seemed to be chipping in about $8 each. Over the years, I must have spent thousands of dollars on their weddings, 2 of which were overseas. I have attended dinners and brunches to celebrate their job promotions and bought gifts for their babies, all the while feeling terrible about myself watching my friends celebrate the happiness I never thought I'd get. I sent a message just asking for clarification if it was all of them buying it together, and one replied asking if I was calling them cheap, and then there's been dead silence since. That really wasn't my intention, but it really feels like because I'm last, they're just over having to do these events, and it's really feeding into my insecurity at getting married so late. But they do have legitimate reasons for these things. They all have lives and kids, and maybe not as much money as when we were a bit younger. And maybe I'm just letting my insecurities get in the way. So, am I the jerk? Now for some comments. One commenter said, NTA, these people aren't your friends. Find a new friend group. Oh, and they are cheap. Another commenter added, yeah, these people do not like you. You are not picking up on it for some reason. Someone else said, OP seems to be what I call the leftover friend. Basically that one awkward person that has been in your group forever, but isn't really anybody's friend. Aside from maybe the one girl who brought her into the group in the first place. Weddings, baby showers, and birthdays are the perfect time for everyone else to be like, I don't want to be around her. I'm 40 years old. Can I just not go to her party? Another commenter noted, I was willing to consider for a bit that maybe having kids made things different now from when they were all getting married. But buying an air fryer as a group gift? That's cheap, not the idiot. And then someone else said, the worst part is actually the cheapness. If you're asking for all this understanding and compromise from one friend when being singled out and given zero effort, the least thing anyone can do to make up for that is get the most awesome gift as a sorry I didn't make the effort to come, here's something to make up for it a bit. What they've shown now is that they don't want to make an effort on her at all, and also they don't want to spend money on her at all. I'd send this post to the group chat and then say my goodbyes, including, don't bother with the air fryer. I've had more hot air by now than I can handle in a lifetime. Not the idiot. Another commenter said, your friends are not really friends in the definition. They are acquaintances. This happens quite often. People have lives and they may still remain in contact with you, but you're not their go-to. You're very generous and they have benefited from that. Now for the update. Hi everyone. I didn't think I would have an update to give, but I wanted to repay everyone's kindness. Some people said some really lovely and helpful things. First off, I wanted to clarify a few questions that were asked. I didn't care at all what they bought us as a gift. I didn't care if they got us a gift at all. It was never about the air fryer. I really wasn't calling them cheap. I was just clarifying if it was coming from all of them. I also didn't ask if they were getting us a gift. They brought this up themselves. I couldn't put my finger on why it made me feel a bit weird. I think the word I was searching for was disrespect. Someone said an $8 gift is worse than no gift, and I think that's the heart of it. The money issue came up as well. As far as I know, all of my friends are fairly solvent. We all work in the finance field, mostly as accountants. 3 are very senior in their firms, and all of their husbands have good jobs. But we never discuss money, and I know kids and the cost of living is high at the moment, so I'd never want to assume anyone's financial status, but everyone seems okay. The other issue was a lot of people asked how often we see each other, and the answer is quite regularly. We made a pact years ago to meet up at least once a month, no matter how crazy life gets, and we've mostly been able to stick to that. The 6 of us usually meet for Sunday brunch. Apart from that, I live in the same neighborhood as 2 of them, so we do dinner occasionally, and parties for their kids, etc., are a must. The last question was, my wedding isn't child-free and is in our city. I love kids, and my friends' kids are surrogate nieces and nephews to me, and they are all invited. The friend who said she couldn't find childcare said she didn't want to bring her kids because she said weddings are easier without them. Lastly, some suggested they don't like my fiancé. They've never given me that impression. Everyone seems to get on well enough. They've known him for 2 years, and he occasionally goes golfing with some of their husbands. Now on to the update. Reading the comments was like having cold water thrown over me. I've never considered myself the outsider friend, but a lot of people suggested that I was, and it really threw me, and I got really overwhelmed. I didn't send any message to the group chat, even though lots of commenters gave me really good suggestions about what to write, and I withdrew into myself until my fiancé prized it out of me what was wrong. I showed him this post, and he got super quiet and really, really angry. I've never seen him this angry over anything ever. He asked if I had spoken to them about this, and I said no. He started to call them individually and read them the riot act. He called them $8 jerks and said he would be sending them an itemized list of the thousands of dollars I'd spent on them over the years. He called nonsense on the one who said she couldn't get a babysitter, and she indeed said she was sick of having to go to the same boring wedding over and over, and yours won't be any different, and he lost it at her. I hate the idea of him fighting my battles for me, so I asked him to stop after the 3rd person. I sent a message into the group chat asking if we could all speak as a group, and the 3 he called sent voice messages saying that my fiancé was a psycho and that they wouldn't speak to me anymore. I just felt really tired and defeated, so I sent a message saying that if they didn't want to be friends anymore, that was fine, and to consider their invitations withdrawn to the bachelorette and wedding. No one has replied, so I guess we're done. I suppose I'm better off, but I don't feel that way. I just feel numb and sad. They've been such a big part of my life for so long, and I really feel the loss, and I'm so sad I won't see their kids anymore. Some of them refer to me as auntie, and it's making me cry that I won't see them grow up. My fiancé has apologized for rushing in and for not asking me how I wanted to handle it, and I've accepted. We're good, and I am looking forward to our life together. I mostly wanted to say thank you to the kind people that showed me the light about this and offered congratulations on our wedding and even offered to buy us a gift. I've never watched Intimacy in the City, but I'll watch the episodes some people mentioned. It seems like I'll relate. I'll delete this post soon. I just want to put this behind me now.